Hey guys, welcome. I'm Becky of Keystone Postcard, and you are watching my new series on Instagram, Modulating Musicians. And I'm going to open up a local beer tonight because we're talking to local musicians. It's kind of our thing. This is Sweetwater Chocolate Stout, and just for fun, I'm going to open up this beer. So tonight we are talking to Josh Johansson, and I'm so excited to talk to him. If you don't know Josh Johansson, he is a local celeb around here, if you will. He's a singer-songwriter. He's known for being on American Idol. If you guys are American Idol fans, he made it out to Hollywood. He was one of the top 75 in the farewell season, so that's pretty cool. But we know Josh just as a really cool dude and a great musician, and we're going to talk to him tonight about what he's gone through during COVID and his experiences. He's got some really cool stuff to talk about. So I see he's on here, so I'm going to let him join in with me to talk about what's going on. And hopefully we'll get him on here in a second. I'm going to taste this beer. See what's up.
Hey,
Hi, Josh.
what's up? We're doing this real life. Baby's not asleep yet.
Oh
He
my
was, and then
God.
he woke up. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I understand.
Hold
I
on,
get
I'll get the picture, the camera situated in just a sec. This is my my new life. This is
Yeah.
Jameson. Say what's up.
Hi, buddy.
He's at the tail end of a bottle and hopefully at the start of a nap or
Oh
some
my
bedtime.
God.
We'll see.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going. It's going. That was one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about too, is you have a new baby
Yeah.
and what what that's been like. So Jameson's how old? When was he born?
He's 2 months old. He's born May 19th. I'm trying to figure out a way to set this thing up.
May 19th.
May 19th. So he's 2 months, I think, and a week, somewhere around there.
So
All right,
we
there
were
we go.
well
That's a
into
little better.
quarantine when he was born.
Oh yeah, we actually had some really good friends who had a baby April 7th, so right before us. And then another one of my really good friends, they just had their baby a week ago today. So we were all kind of going through it together and keeping everybody informed with what the word was at the hospital and stuff in their area, and all the worry and stuff. It ended up going really well though. We had
Well, good.
yeah, worked out.
Yeah. I know that having a baby is stressful enough. I can't imagine what poor Kaylee must have been going through at this time.
I think she worried herself so much that once it actually happened, she handled it really well, and it wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be. Parts of it, at least. I can't
Yeah.
speak for her, but if I had to speak for her, that's what I would say.
Cool. Good.
Yeah,
What's it been like being a dad? New
it's
dad.
been awesome. I've been a dork about how fun it is. Like all this stuff, I've been able to gig a little bit, but of course, a lot of gigs. This is the busy season, so a lot of gigs have been canceled. And because of that, I've been able to be more of a dad around this time than I thought I'd be able to be. So it's been really cool. Learned a lot, and I've had a lot of time to enjoy him. I'm not sleeping near as much as I used to, so that's good, I guess. But it's cool. It's been fun making these adjustments.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we even said, like, Vic said the same thing. Like, this is our busy season right now. And
Hmm.
with, we have our baby isn't quite so new. He just turned a year old, but he would have missed so much of, like, this time with him.
For
He would be
sure.
able to spend more time with him. So that's
Yeah, I
awesome
mean,
that you
y'all have lived
did
through it in normal times, I guess is what we'll call it, and you've had two babies his age and beyond now in regular time. So it's, I imagine, way different when you're having to play 7, 9 gigs a week this time of year
that. Heck
compared
yeah.
to a couple on the weekend if you're lucky.
Yeah, right. So I want to ask Josh, do you remember what your last gig was before we went into lockdown?
Yeah, it was at Flashback in Richmond Hill, so right down the road from our house. I actually played there Tuesday and then Thursday. It was right around St. Patrick's Day. It might have been St. Patrick's Day. And then it was shut down after that. But it was a couple good gigs. Jimmy
Yeah.
kept me busy there. Thank God.
Yeah. So your last gig then, that week of St. Patrick's Day, that was the same thing as us. When did you start playing again?
So let's see. I don't even know. It's been probably about a month, maybe a little over a month, that I've been able to play a little bit. But it's been like a gig, 1 or 2 gigs a week. I think I just had my first 3-gig week this past weekend. And it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which
Okay.
I'm extremely grateful for. But yeah, it's been totally opposite of, like I said, the 7 to 9 gigs, this time of year that you're used to,
Right.
or that we've grown used to. Been really fortunate to have.
Yeah. So what have you been doing, like, during this time? Have you been trying to, like, have you been focusing on anything? I mean, other than Jameson, obviously, other than the
Yeah,
baby.
he's taken up most of it, but I've tried to spend a lot of time. I have this. Yeah, let's see if I can turn the camera. This pretty baby grand piano that my grandma gave me. They moved to a smaller house, and she gave me her piano because nobody else wanted it. So I've been trying to teach myself how to play that thing a little bit. Goodness gracious. And I've been trying to write some new stuff. Of course, with all the craziness, it seems like we'd have plenty to write about, but I'm so ADD, I can't just stay on one thing. But I've been just trying to be artistic. It's weird. I haven't been playing guitar near as much, so I'm losing my calluses. I'll be 2 gigs in on the weekend and like playing solos. I'm like, my fingers hurt. Haven't had to say that in a while,
Dude, you got to build them back up again because it
It's
hurts
weird.
when
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
back. You're like, dang.
yeah. It's wild, but the keys on the piano, you don't really have that problem. So
Yeah.
it's been wild, but it's been, I feel like, pretty productive. I actually released a what I thought was an EP, but apparently it's a single. When there's only 3 songs, it's called a single still.
Oh,
So I had the equipment for a little while, and then I finally got the guts to try to record something in our guest room, and we set that up, and I did a little acoustic single with 3 songs on it, and put that out kind of beginning to mid quarantine. That was kind of a cool thing, and it wasn't the pressure of going to a studio. It was just walk down the
yeah.
hallway and give that a shot. So that was kind of a fun thing to try out. And then I was able to send music up to my uncle in Asheville, North Carolina, and he kind of did the mixing and stuff. But yeah, I've just been trying to find ways to still be a musician while being a dad and a hypochondriac and all that stuff in these times.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about so for those of you watching, Good News is the name of that single, or I mean, I would still consider it an EP. It's 3 songs.
That's what I thought.
And you guys can I know it's on Spotify. Is it like on Apple Music and other stuff too?
It's on all that stuff. Google, Amazon, everything. I think you can ask Siri or Alexa or all those female electronic
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Cool. But what inspired you? I know, so your first album that you recorded in 2018,
Yeah.
Over This Mountain, you recorded at Hybrid Audio Studios, Audio
Yeah.
Solutions. They're awesome. That's where we record our album too.
So awesome.
They have so many great things to say about your album. They were so excited when it came out when we got there.
Yes.
But what inspired you to write and record your own stuff during this time? Like, was that stuff already written, or did you
Some
write
of
it
it,
during this time?
yeah, actually, some of it, or the first song, it's called "As 30 Years." I wrote that, I think, the beginning of March, because it said in a couple months my first kid will be here. So that was around the beginning of March. Oh, it's okay, little man. But besides that, the other 2 songs I've had kind of for a little while. I had Good News was something I wrote a few years ago in like 10 minutes on the way up to Atlanta. And I was sick of all the negativity. And I was actually at that time trying to branch out of just Savannah and doing more open mics and stuff up in Atlanta to kind of get my name out up there. And I think I was still going to have, or I was going to do like an open mic or something that night. And I was like, I need to have a new song for this. I don't need to play something that I play everywhere. So I ended up writing Good News on the way up there. I think there's like, the original version only had 2 chords the whole song. And then ended up changing up the writing or the whatchamacallit. I can't even think right now. Changed up the music a little bit once I started to record for this thing. I changed it up
Yeah.
from 4/4 time to 3/4 time and changed up the key a little bit. But it was pretty much written probably 3 or 4 years ago. And then I have Baby Brain right now. The second song that I can't even remember what it's called, After the Storm Passes, I wrote that 2 years ago. When one of those hurricanes was hitting the Gulf. But yeah, they've all been around different amounts of time, and I'm happy with them though. It was something.
Yeah,
It was
they
more
sound
heartfelt.
great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm excited about them.
So someone is asking on the stream here, they're asking what genre, like what would you classify your style of music?
Fantastic question. I have no clue. I kind of like, this is a cop out answer, but singer songwriter. I don't know. I really loved like Zach Brown Band growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach Brown Band had they had like the kind of islandy sounding stuff. Then they had Chicken Fried, and then they had some kind of more soulful jazzy stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I wanted to be like that. But lately I've kind of gone and I've gotten more in love with like some rockin' acoustic stuff, some anything that just means something. I'd call it singer-songwriter, but something with some heart and soul behind it. And then yeah.
Ryan Tito of Ember City is watching, and he said he calls it Josh Hop.
Josh Hop.
Yeah.
All right. We can roll with that,
That's
Ryan.
what you would consider it.
Sounds good to me. Josh
And
Hop.
some other people, to make you feel better, some other people are saying that Baby Brain is so real and that your
Yeah.
baby is adorable.
Thank
Um,
you.
and then it's
They
inspiring
like
to hear
it.
your backstory, and I
Oh.
totally agree.
Well,
It's
thanks so much for doing this. This is so cool. I've been wanting to do something like this like for a couple of years now, ever since I started listening to podcasts, but I'm scared to do it. So good job doing something like
oh
this.
yeah. Well, I mean, I love to hear you guys like we know you, but like I love to hear
Yeah.
your backstory too. Like, and I
Yeah.
want to hear, especially right now, we've been so separated from everyone because we don't see anybody anymore. But um, I'm interested in I know how we've struggled as musicians, but I'd like to know like how everybody else, like what are some of the things that you found during this time? I mean, other than obviously having baby brain and all that stuff, like
Yeah. That's not, I
because
don't
you
think
were a
every
full-time
musician has this.
musician, like what was the impact on your family?
Well, it's so weird. So my wife she's an art teacher. Um, so art teachers have the summer off, and he was born at the perfect time, in the middle of the summer. So that kind of stuff wasn't too weird. It was kind of like she was on maternity leave anyway. Um, but this would be the time that Daddy would normally be ready to play all day long, and build up, put the little I was about to say nuts to the side, but I'm thinking of squirrels and stuff. Once again, baby brain. But trying to stock up for December, when it slows down. That's kind of what summertime is for. And then when it slows down in December, I get to hang out and do Christmas time with the family. But there hasn't been so much stocking up, I guess, with this stuff going on. Luckily, we haven't
Yeah.
had to deal
Were you
with
able
the
to
terror.
apply for unemployment or anything?
Yeah,
Did you do any of that
thank
stuff?
God that all worked out. Yeah, so that helped big time. Um, I would still say compared to a normal summer, it's not exactly making up for that for a normal summer, but we sure are blessed just to be able to have that. I mean, gosh, we're really fortunate to be able to have that. We'd be in trouble without the government help and stuff in this situation. And it sucks because I keep seeing people talking about like, oh, these people got this much money and this unemployment really, everybody else has been working the whole time. Well, guess what? We're musicians and we'd love to be playing our regular gigs if we could, but we can't. And yeah, we could go get a job at a restaurant or something, maybe if the restaurant's open. But that'd be like asking you to quit whatever your job is to go do something like that. And I'm not too proud to do it, but it would be really nice to be able to play music and do the job that I've grown to really enjoy. And you know, it's my career thus far. So I'd like to keep doing that. But it also makes you think about how lucky we are in normal times to be able to, you know, play guitar and perform for people, entertain people, where just something crazy like a pandemic can come along and cause chaos, and then you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
It's wild, you know. But you have to keep in mind that we're really fortunate to, in our case at least, our families remained pretty healthy. Nobody's had to deal with coronavirus directly. And there's a lot of people who have lost loved ones and a lot of people who have had to deal with a lot more than just missing a little bit of money, you know? And you got to kind of keep that in perspective all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. So you said that this weekend is the first weekend that you have, you know, kind of you're getting back to a little bit of a normal schedule.
Yep.
What's going forward for you? Like, what's your calendar look like for like August and September? Did you basically lose everything and it didn't come back, or are you anticipating those to come back again? Do you need to book new gigs?
Oh yeah, I mean, it has mainly been just throwing the old schedule out and starting over. I think I have a couple gigs that had remained on the schedule the whole time, and then timing just worked out to where when everything was getting back rolling, the timing was right for me to be able to start that gig and not have to worry about canceling it. But for the most part, it's been kind of starting over and trying to book all new stuff. Luckily, people have been reaching out, and I've been trying to reach out some too, but it's weird because there's a lot of venues that typically have music that can't do music right now. Like they're having to worry about staying in business. They haven't said this, but I imagine, hold on, little man, they're having to worry about staying in business and you know, keeping their regular employees employed, and
Right.
they can't really worry about the guy coming and playing guitar for people right now, or they don't have enough people coming in to be able to pay a musician right now.
Right.
So it's really weird trying to find which venues are still rolling and which ones are kind of starting all over.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer, Josh, because I know that you're dadding real hard right now,
You're
and it's
good. I'm so
awesome.
sorry. Normally,
No,
he'd be asleep, but Daddy doesn't have the magic that Mama does right now.
I love it, and I completely understand. And this is, I mean,
It's real.
everybody, the comments from the Keystone Postcard fans that are watching right now, they're saying that they love your attitude and they love, like, you know, oh, and to answer that someone asked, is this your first baby? Yes, this is your first baby.
It
Um,
is.
so you're doing an awesome job. But we do have a
Thank
couple of
you.
questions that came in from our Instagram story, that people
Yeah.
wanted to ask. And let's start. Let's see. This one is, how did your experience on American Idol change the way you approached being a musician?
Good question. Hi, shout out all the Keystone Postcard fans. Good to see y'all. We'll be talking with y'all. Um, American Idol, that's a different question. Normally it's just, how is American Idol? American Idol, so when I went through it all, the whole thing was just, I hate using the word surreal because I don't feel like it's the right word. I think surreal, I think like Salvador Dali. It was just wild, and it didn't feel real. It just didn't. But going through it all, it became real, and it was real. And I met a bunch of awesome musicians that I felt like were a million times better than me. and there were a lot of people along the way. It's a TV show. You have to remember that. So throughout the time that you're going through it all, it's like people are getting cut, and you're like, I know that person's a million times better than me. That has to be because this is TV. So it's not like a talent, like you don't know when you're going to get cut because it's all so random. It's not, there's no formula to figure that stuff out. So you just kind of try to enjoy the whole way. And then I was lucky enough to get to the end of Hollywood Week. I got through all the auditions to the end of Hollywood Week. And they put us all in 3 different rooms and said, all right, you're out. This room's out. Y'all are going home. And the other 2 rooms got to stay. And I was like, dang. But in that little speech, they were talking about how far we had come to get involved with all, to get where we got. And then they were saying, just keep in mind, just like you were when you were on the stage, because we were in the middle of the Dolby Theater where they do like the Academy Awards and stuff. Like I was singing where people win Oscars. It was freaking crazy. But they said, keep in mind when you're going to just your regular bar gigs and stuff, think about those gigs like you have us 3 who were Harry Connick Jr., Keith Urban, and Jennifer Lopez. And play those gigs like you're singing for us, or play those gigs like you're playing for an arena full of people. And I still am spoiled sometimes and don't do that, but it is something that I always try to go back to when I'm like, I don't want to go to work today. I want to hang out. Family's having a party. I want to stick around. I got to keep in mind, hey, there's people there that want to be entertained and they want to hear some guy jam out and play some songs and sing with all his heart and soul. So I better try to give that to him. As long as I'm not being a spoiled brat that day, I need to keep that in mind.
That's awesome. That's what, keeping perspective is really,
For sure.
really great.
Yeah.
The next one is, do you have a favorite song that you've written? So out of your originals.
Oh, every new one. Because I'm not one of those people that can sit down and write a song like every day. Some people can do that. So like anytime I write a new song, I'm like, okay, this is my new favorite. Right now, maybe so I like After the Storm Passes off the newest collection of songs. And then the other storm song, The Calm Before the Storm, which is totally unrelated, but I really like the way that one turned out. My favorite is probably Take Me Where I'm Going. It's got the kind of acoustic vibe that I have really gotten into, and it makes me feel like I'm walking through North Georgia or like North Carolina or something. And I like that vibe. Makes me feel good.
I like that one too. That's a good one.
Thank you.
How about your favorite band?
Favorite band? Good question. So I feel like this is a lot of people's, or could be a lot of people's answer, or it's the complete opposite of a lot of people's answer too. You good, man? And it's either Grateful Dead or the Allman Brothers. I love both of them. I love the improvisation. I feel like every time I listen, I learn more and more. I like that they're super jazz focused, because jazz is like, when I listen to jazz, it's starting to make a little more sense, but it's also like being a goofy old Southern boy and looking at Chinese writing and trying to figure out what it means. But it's getting more clear, but there's just so much to it, and it's so deep and soulful and heartfelt. There's just so many things I love about it. But one of those 2 bands, they actually
I think that's a great way for the question earlier when they were asking about what genre is like your style. Like the combination of those 2 would be really great to describe your music, I think.
I appreciate that. I feel like I'm not to that improvisational level yet, but I'm also just like a solo guy, and they are both bands that had like 2 drummers and 2 guitars. They were big bands, you know? So yeah, maybe that's a mental thing. It's funny, those 2 bands actually apparently just had their anniversary from yesterday. They had a big concert several years ago at Watkins Glen where they actually combined and played a big festival together, and they ended up playing some of my favorite songs together. So it's kind of funny putting those 2 bands together today, the day after.
That's super cool. All right, the
Yeah.
last one that came in on our story is whiskey or beer.
Mm,
I think I know the answer to this one.
what do you think it is?
Well, I mean, your son's name is Jameson.
Yeah, but that's not why his name is Jameson. I have to make sure my wife would be really mad if that was the
I hope
reason.
I'm not getting you
So,
in trouble.
no, you're not at all. I just have to always point out that Jameson Irish whiskey is not the reason, even though I do like Jameson Irish whiskey a lot. But whiskey would probably be the answer now. College, it'd probably still be whiskey, but beer was a good competitor. I love beer, but whiskey is my favorite. I like drinking like Jack Daniel's neat at a gig, just like one, and then I'm good to go, and I feel right. My throat feels good from the burn of the whiskey,
Ugh,
and puts
that's
me
so
in my
bad for your
happy
vocal
place.
cords, dude.
I drink a lot of water all day before that. It's just
Okay.
that one. It's a shot this big, and I sip on it, but it's probably still terrible for it. But it works out right. It gives me that gravelly thing, I guess.
And it didn't come in on the story, but Ryan Tito, who is still watching, I hope he asked, now that you're a dad, do you have a favorite dad joke?
Oh, kind of like the songs, whatever is the newest dad joke is my favorite. It's all stupid, but I have fun doing that. I feel like obligated to give the world my dad jokes since I'm now a dad.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
That's awesome. Um,
yeah.
Thank you so much, Josh, for taking the time with me. I think this was so much fun.
Thank you. I had a blast too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking out for these things every week now. This is awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So where can everybody find you and find your stuff?
You can find me on Facebook at Josh Johansson, something like that. Just search
And
Josh
it's two
Johansson.
S's, right?
Yeah, like Scarlett Johansson. She's the more
Okay.
famous Johansson. So check that out. I try to put music stuff on there. I have joshjohanssonmusic.com, which is way too much to type in. So I got to do something about that. Twitter at Josh Johansson. Instagram up at the top of the screen, I think, at Josh Johansson. But just Google it. And I should be somewhere near there.
Cool. Very sweet.
Yeah.
And all of your music is on all streaming platforms. So you
Yes.
guys make sure you check out. Josh has 2 albums out. He's got Over This Mountain. Over This Mountain or Over the Mountain?
Over this mountain.
Over This Mountain. I had it right the first time. Then it sounded weird when it came out. Over This Mountain and Good News. So check
Yeah.
out Josh's stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all next week. And I'm going to let you get back to dadding because you're doing
Sounds
great.
good. You get back to momming and tell the fam I said hi.
I will. All right.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Thank you. See ya.